That's a nasty ass piece of pizza covered in ant. You really gonna fucking eat that? You have to at least share with your fat sister. Sandhill Cranes. That was cool. A little gator right there. Look at him go. All right, what is up, guys? Welcome back to the recording podcast closet, whatever the hell this is. Don't worry, we're not going to be here long. We're going to be going over an amazing morning yoga routine for paralyzed individuals. And we're just in the closet because this is where I'm doing the voiceover. This has got the best audio. So yeah, let's hop right into this routine. So first things first, we'll obviously watch the transfer down because that's something we all wonder about as paralyzed people, is how people get into the positions they want to be in. And I think transferring in and out of the chair on a daily basis as much as possible is like the ticket to freedom for anyone in a wheelchair, anyone paraplegic. It's just that confidence that you can get back in your chair and get out of your chair whenever you need to is huge from a mental standpoint. And it's something that I severely neglected in the beginning, mostly out of fear and pain, and just my body was so damaged. But yeah, I try to get out of the chair as much as possible, especially going all the way to the ground and back in. So you can see my legs are spasming like crazy here. Was battling against tone so hard this whole stretching session, but that's kind of the point of doing this morning yoga. Is I don't take any baclofen or muscle relaxers or anything like that. I think they're highly detrimental to healing. So I get really bad spasms all night, really bad foot drop where my calves are spasming forward. So I gotta kind of undo that damage in the morning, and this is the process. So yeah, you can see my legs are just battling me. They don't like what I'm doing. My inner thigh is spasming inwards. For me, my tightest muscles are I guess it's not even a muscle. It's my tightest muscle is my calves, but right there where I'm squeezing, where I just squeezed, that's a tendon that just drives me absolutely nuts. It gets super tight and causes all sorts of issues. So really gotta work on him a lot. And what I'll do sometimes is where I'm kind of just rubbed right there, I'll get a Theragun, like one of those percussion guns, and while I'm doing this stretch, I'll just really get in there and give those tendons on the back of my leg, give them a good whack and try to loosen them up, try to get the blood flow going, and just give them as much attention as possible, because they're almost causing like damage. They're spasming so hard and tightening so much, and it's just always an uphill struggle, because my legs are supposed to be like that walking all day, and they're bent sitting in that chair, and that thing's just so shortened. It's not a natural position. So just needs to give it a little bit of extra attention, because it's a main culprit in that foot dropping and pushing my foot outwards like this. It pulls up the back and pushes the foot down. So yeah, just fighting the good fight here. The legs really want to spin inwards. My knees want to want to turn inward. So I just want to stretch, so pull everything outward and open my body up for the day. It's so critical. One thing I don't do in this yoga session, but I do it immediately afterwards when I'm doing breath work, is I put pillows down and kind of lay back on top of pillows and stretch my spine out. Like to definitely get that done every day, because the whole idea is just to open our closed bodies up. You know, sitting in that position, your body's forward and your legs are bent, you're just closed up, and it's bad for energy flow throughout the body. It's bad for your muscles, and that all, of course, is bad for your mental well-being. You gotta keep things open and flowing. Oh yeah, that's a nice position. There we go. Um, get the old splits going. But yeah, um, this is an awesome stretch for the morning time when my legs are really, oh well, I guess that's gone. But anyways, I like to, on this left leg, I like to really get in there and do some like nice hip mobility stuff, because I have what's called heterotrophic ossification, with a calcification on top of the greater trochanter, like the ball joint in my hip, and so this is just keeping that mobile. It's battling against that. I keep saying battling, but it is a battle. That actually was the progression of that was arrested early on with strong anti-inflammatory drugs, but I still, my hip still pops and makes horrible noises, and I think there's like that bump on the ball, and it like pops in and out of the joint. I'm sure it's not good for that joint, but it's what it is. And here is the creme de la creme of digestion. Really sexy position that I'm in here. Probably the sexiest of the series. Not quite as good of a view here, but that's all right. But this is like the best thing you can possibly do pre bowel program, to just get those digestive juices flowing. And hopefully there's not too much juicing going on, but it is what it is. This is just awesome. This is also great back stretch, feels super good, and it's better. I'll do this in the bed sometimes, but doing it on this hard floor with my spine completely flat is much better on the back. And I don't know, I mean, it's just gets you a really good back stretch. Lots of popping and cracking if I haven't done it in a couple days. And this part is critical for digestion. Really deep breathing down into that perineum, and which is also scientifically known as the taint or the gooch, and filling that whole bottom of your abdomen cavity with air, and then squeezing all the way up your lower abdomen, your upper abdomen, and just squeezing everything upwards. Even if you can't feel down there, you don't have a lot of muscle movement. Oh well, I guess I digress. This is probably the sexiest position of the whole series. But yeah, focusing on deep breathing and really clenching all those muscles upwards, pushing the cerebral spinal fluid up, hopefully. And the whole theory behind this is based off of a fantastic book, a book that I love called Supernatural, by Dr. Joe Dispenza, who this book was recommended to me early on in my paralysis, because apparently he had some sort of spinal cord injury and actually ended up healing it. But anyways, I will put a link to that book, because there's too much, like far too much to even begin to touch on what it really dives into, but it's incredible. I'll put a link to it just below. Highly recommend checking it out. It's pretty esoteric, pretty out there, but if you do the practices and actually do the meditations and the breath work inside of it, you will find that none of it is fictionalized at all. It's all very real. The hair is looking terrible up here. Luckily I'm small and in the corner, hopefully. All right, and this is just, your basic basic gooch stretch, just stretching that gooch out for the day. Like I said, I actually on my right leg, I tore the tendon. That's, I don't know what it's called, the hip adductor or abductor, but I'll just call it the gooch tendon, the inner thigh tendon, the one that is currently in the video pulling my left leg inward. On my right leg, I actually tore that one, and it's balled up in basically a ball down in, down next to my nuts in that corner, that corner of my leg. I don't know what you call it, but yeah, there's just a big ball of muscle and tendon there where it ripped off like a year or so ago, when I was doing a version of this yoga where I just went too hard, too fast, and wasn't warmed up properly. But it wasn't doing anything like this. It was doing like way more advanced, like attempting, actual modified yoga poses. And I think I kind of just slipped, and my knee kind of went outwards with weight in a real weird way, and just, yeah, ripped that tendon. So I guess the bottom line is be careful, don't overdo it. Don't push your body past the limits that it's asking of you, and don't fall, because I think it's pretty hard to just tear your muscles with your own force. You can go pretty hard in that regard. Yeah, look at this. I'm just absolutely fighting with the spasms, and I think it was not just due to tightness. I also burned the crap out of my back just a couple days before I filmed this, just a couple days ago before I filmed this. And you can see right here, I'll show the burn. I was laying on a heat pad and fell asleep, and it was on high where it should have been on low, and I shouldn't have been sleeping. Yeah, just burned the shit out of me. Luckily, I only slept for about 20 minutes. I would be having like having like skin grafts or something had I let it go for too much longer. But the bottom line is, it was below my level of injury, obviously, or I would have woken up. And anytime there's discomfort below the level of injury, one of my first indications or indicators is like way more tonality, way more spasms, unexplained nerve pain. And I didn't really have nerve pain in the area of the burn. I just had, generalized tingling and coldness and heat and burning more than normal, which is, a significant amount already, but a lot more than normal, which I don't know how to say it. I don't know. It made me check. It made me aware that there was something wrong, and what was wrong was there was just a huge burn on my back. So I think the spasms were a lot worse because I was just kind of moving that fresh burn around, and my body didn't like it. But here we go. Finally get my leg into a decent position here, and that foot drop is still just not. It's not quitting this morning. So have to keep at it throughout the day. Definitely do some standing, because my my ankles are really struggling at this point, and every day is different. It just depends how much tonality I had the night before. Here we go. This is this is up there in essential stretches you got to do as a paralyzed person. Just wringing that spinal column out, just absolutely, get it top to bottom, getting a nice twist, exhaling, twisting a little bit more. And oh, damn, son, man, lay off the steak. I look fat as hell from this position, from this angle. Look at that, man, beefcake. But irregardless of that, I don't have, my spinal column doesn't have hardware in it anymore. It is fused. I broke it in 20, fractured it in 20 places, 3 major displacements, and had 2 hardware fusions, one in the neck and one in like the lumbar thoracic area. But they got super infected, and about 9 months after I got them put in, I had to get them, maybe a little more than 9 months, maybe about 11. Yeah, about 11 months after I originally got them put in, I had to get them removed. So this is my attempt at, getting that spinal column limber again. But even if you have hardware in, it's really important to, do whatever you can to just keep that column moving. And that was kind of one of my biggest regrets of my first 18 months of being paralyzed, is I was just so scared to bend my back and move, and I didn't know what it was capable of. I was scared to even do like get up into like a push-up position and really kind of stretch my back out. I didn't know how much. I mean, it felt horrible, and when my back moves around, not so much anymore because I've done tons of strengthening on it, lots of pull-ups and pull-downs and all sorts of back exercises. So it's not as bad anymore. But before, like every time I would move, I mean, it just sounded like crunching and breaking. I mean, it was like my spine was like a Jenga column, and at any moment it was just going to just go crumbling down because it was really unstable, and it felt super uncomfortable and super weird to move around, and it felt not safe. So the bottom line is I was scared to move, and I wish I had done a whole lot more of this stuff early on, because now I'm fighting, it's uphill. I'm working my way uphill to regain motion. And same with this. This is oblique, some oblique action here, and that right side that you're looking at was all crushed in my car accident because my body basically hit a telephone pole on that side at 80 miles per hour, and I broke all those ribs, punctured my lung. And because it was so painful for months and months afterwards, I did not breathe deeply into my chest cavity, and now it's all just gummed up and tight, and I'm really, really working on opening that back up again and breaking up all that scar tissue. And if you want to watch my routine for that, please tune into the next video. And if this isn't the first like couple hours this is out, I'll have a link to that video in the show notes below, or whatever you call them below. And it's a breath work video. It's my breath work and diaphragm routine. It's the most important thing that I do every day. I mean, it's the catalyst to whether my day is healing or hurting, like whether I'm regressing or progressing forward in life is based on whether or not I do a breath work routine in the morning. It's huge for my mental health and well-being. It's huge for, like I said, improving that diaphragmatic breathing and breaking up all that scar tissue. I cannot emphasize the importance of it enough. And yeah, check out, if you don't want to take my word for it, then I will also include links on that breathwork video to a bunch of other people's breathwork that has taught me a lot. But I think you'll get huge value from it. So moving back to the morning yoga, breathwork's incorporated in that. But what I'm doing here is just putting some pads under my knees for the non-negotiable. This is something I do every day now. It's not something I did every day for a lot of my injury, but I've done it every day for months now, and that is cobra and child's pose. So cobra is just coming down just like so, and if you can get someone to push your hips down from the back, it's even better. Really stretch those hip flexors out. It's awesome. But I do this every single day, no matter what, even if it's just a couple rotations of it in bed. And then this is child's pose, and really just stretching those lats, lower back, everything. See, I'm super tight in this video. Can uh, barely make it down at all, which is crazy, but it's just the way it is. Um, and you see that band-aid sticking out of my shirt a little bit there. That is from that burn. And then I just like to do about 10 of these. You know, one cobra, one child's pose together is one, and you know, work through ideally 10, but at least 5, you know, good long stretches on both sides. And see, I'm spasming so hard, my legs are shooting in here, and I'm having to readjust, which is not usually the case for me. This is, uh, you know, I was probably really lazy, you know, for quite a few days before I shot this video, um, or just was, you know, busy and not in the groove of things, which happens. But it's just about doing as much as you possibly can. I'm not sure what's going on here. I kept this one going for a while, but that's probably because this is like literally my favorite pose ever. So we'll leave it like that. Um, Boom. End it with just a few push-ups to get everything flowing. Terrible form, absolutely terrible form, but I wasn't thinking about it too much. And yeah, so that's the basic breakdown of an example of a good morning yoga session. And like I said, right after this yoga session, I hopped into a nice long breath work session that I ended with some spinal stretching over the top of a pillow, which I will, you know, you'll see if you do watch my breath work and diaphragmatic breathing video. That's next. But just hang out for, you know, I don't know what I said there, but it's nothing of value. I promise you, I listened to this video. It's just a bunch of shit. But I urge you to stick around for the transfer, because it's always good to be reminded that getting in and out of the wheelchair is awesome and super critical to wheelchair happiness. And this is this is the hardest time of day for me to transfer. First thing in the morning, right, like this, prior to, you know, prior to doing bowel program and prior to breath work. At least post stretching, it's a little bit better, but it's still going to be fighting, you know, really bad spasms for me until at least noon or so. Standing FES bike, that's going to chill them out a little bit, but here they're going to be wanting to fight me as I get up into the chair. It's going to want to throw me back onto the ground, or you know, just generally make it a pain in the ass. I'm not sure if this is the best way to transfer, or this is the only way that I transfer. I think I learned it in inpatient, and it seems to work really well for me. Just positioning like that and then throwing myself forward as much as I can. And yeah, see, the spasms they're working against me in every way, shape, and form, making it a little more, definitely a little more difficult than usual. But that's just the way it is. But anyways, hey, thank you so much for joining me for my morning yoga session and my walk with the dogs. If you want to see that amazing cacao recipe that I kind of alluded to in the beginning of the video, then please check out the link below, because that's a great coffee alternative that I've come to love, and a bunch more of that will be available on my cooking channel. So anyways, thank you so much. I love you guys. Please like, subscribe, comment. You know, even if it's something hateful, say whatever the hell you want. It's a free world, and all of it helps my algorithm. So bring on the hate, bring on the love, but just, you know, take action. Do something on there. I really appreciate it. Again, much love. Can't wait until the next video. Can't wait to hear any of your guys' feedback, and I hope this finds you absolutely amazing and well and having a great day. Catch you next time.